Okay guys, so let's continue with the frame part. There are the cutouts on the trigger guard part, so let's do those. Simply start with the box as well, scale it, move, select edges and bevel those like this. Let's add some supporting edge here, rotate it in a correct position, duplicate it again. Okay, let's select them all, go into custom, shelf and combine those. Okay, now let's export it to ZBrush. Yep. So make sure you select this subtool and put those cutouts lower than this tool, this subtool, so that they were affecting it. Yep, like this. Right. They should also be scaled sideways. Let's crease those. Yep. And now just scale and put as a subtraction. And as you can see, they need to be adjusted. Like this. Right. As you can see, they quite differ from this one. And I made this decision on purpose because the soft angled surface would look better on baking, and this one, due to those like tiny edges over there, they're not gonna like reflect light that good as this variant. So like from distance you won't tell like the difference between those two, but this one is going to look better on the baked model, so I'll keep it this way. All right, let's turn on the poly paint. All right, so let's go on now. Now let's go with this mag release button. So the procedure is pretty much the same. Now I'll start with the cylinder, rotate it 90 degrees. Like this, move it. I guess I'll keep the 20 edges for now because this is quite small shape, and I think 20 edges will be enough. So this shape is not that easy. It's not perfect circle, so you have to manually adjust it. So, whoops. I also tend to do this trick with cylinders. Just select faces and then shift drag like this, so we have a half of the cylinder. Oops, move it sideways. Yeah, what is this? how that happened. Let's do it again. Let's make sure all the polygons are properly selected. Yeah, now we're good. Now we're good. And let's move this thing upwards. Make a better form. Okay, I think that will do for now. That supporting edge here. Now the other thing is this tapering. It's not straight in, it tapers. The radius here is wider than here, and in order to do that I tend to do this kind of trick. Add supporting edge here, select faces, this face loop, extrude it like this, and now just delete this edge. Here you go. Here you go. Okay, so let's try this one out and export it. And it can go here. And then let's crease those guys. Yep. And move in. So let's check the distance where the thing goes in terms of with the trigger guard. There's some distance, but it's quite deep. Yeah, I think that's fine. So let's check out the side view. Yeah, it's pretty much there. Yeah, I think it's there. It's not like 100% accurate, but it's almost there. So let's do the same thing on the other side. Duplicate, mirror, subtract, merge those two together like this. Now we have both sides done. Okay, so now let's do the hole for the trigger, the magazine release button. So basically, this time I'm not going to care too much about amount of polygons, but because the hole itself, not the button, but the hole beneath the button is going to be baked in. So no need to care about the amount of edges. So let's just delete and import like standard 16 cylinder. Reset pivot, rotate 90 degrees, move it into the position, scale it in a proper diameter. Like, I'm just eyeballing here. It's not just looking at the reference and trying to eyeball this. This is not that important. Okay, so subtract, and you can actually do it like the whole way through. Like this. Yep. All right. Well, since I do have the cylinder, and let's check out the amount of edges here. Yeah, that's pretty much enough. So since I have the cylinder, let's just do the mag release button. Duplicate the same cylinder, move it lower, as you can see here, and set it to like a new stack of booleans. Well, right now I'm not sure that the cylinder is perfectly centered, so I'll have to scale it this way and move only on one side, and I'll then just duplicate it to another. Okay, so let's check out the reference about how far it goes. It's pretty much on this level. So let's move it like this. Yep. Alright, so duplicate it, mirror, and merge those guys together. Right. So the button has this like cutting lines. So there's an easy trick to do those only using ZBrush. So basically duplicate this mesh, make sure it's underneath this one, import a simple box, center to the pivot, move it. No need to smooth it, just box as it is. Turn 45 degrees on the side view like this, reset the pivot, scale it sideways. Actually, let's count those cutouts, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of those, okay. Take it to subtract. Here's 1. Okay, so here's the trick in ZBrush. For example, if you want to duplicate a mesh like this, but you want to duplicate it in a stack and with the same distance between each other, there is a option for that. You can hold Control and drag, and you can see it masks the old one and drags you a new one, and it's still in new subtool. You can remove the selection, and now you have 2 of those boxes. But what if I want to make them on the same make them like in a stack with the same distance with each other? So you should pin the pivot point first, then hold Control, move this thing lower on preferable distance, down, release everything, and just hit 1 on the keyboard. See this? It will create the next one on the same distance. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do the 6th one. It is lower. We cannot see it right now, but what I can do here is just move it up to this point. Oh, right. So unpin the pivot, and now move it here and just scale it to this side so that all of those 6 cutouts could fit on a button like this. All right, so let's center the pivot and just rotate it like this so it's not that boring, like perfectly horizontal or vertical. Yep, so this is how I do this kind of stuff. So duplicate it as well, mirror, subtract, and merge those guys together. You can actually do the same thing with this side. You can rotate it, but I don't feel need to that because you cannot see both buttons at the same time. So since you can't see those at the same time, I don't feel that there's need to make them different. Okay, so we got this thing. Let's go on with the bottom part of the grip. Here it is. So, okay, let's save the scene. Let's go back into Maya. Just as usual, I'll go with the box. Move it here, vertex mode, do this, move like this, add edge here, select this face, extrude, extrude again, and here we go. This is how it should look like. Scale, no need to smooth it out or subdivide, just export it like it is to ZBrush, select the proper subtool, duplicate it, import, turn off the subdivision, and subtract. This is it. Exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so let's make this magwell. So let's update the form in Maya so that this part was like in ZBrush. Just as usual, booleans. Select this, Control W, export one. Delete this one. Import. So now I would like to do the basic shape for the magazine. Still not too much into details, but like the outer shape more accurate. So let's unhide this box over here that is used. So let's see the reference. It's pretty much square shape with not too big bevels, and on the front it's almost straight as I can guess, like here, and on the back side it is tapered right here, and the line of taperings like goes this way. I think it's kind of like this way, somewhere like this. Okay, so let's start with the basic shape. So first of all, I think I'm going to remove this tapering, manual tapering over here. I'll edit later. This was like a block out. Now I need a more flexible model. So, or I could leave it. I'm not sure yet. Okay, let's leave it for now. So let's do the beveling on the edges, keeping the main shapes more square, like this. Check on the reference. Yeah, like you see this part is like really close to the outer wall. So a bit more. Or even more for better modeling purposes. Yeah, this is okay. Oh, I forgot to select these edges. I'm sorry, guys. Now do the same, 0.4, and add a couple segments. No, 0.5. Or even 0.6. Yeah, 0.6, okay. So this is the updated look of the magazine. And let's do a like tiny bevel on the back side as well. Really slight one, like this. Yeah. This is okay. So Control 1, Let's add some supporting edges along here. Connect 2 times, and that's somehow what? Why? Control Z, connect. Yeah, now we're good. So let's move those guys there. Same thing on this side. Go into top view for better selection. Connect 2 times and scale those guys like this. Right, we're good. This is our magazine. Looks pretty fine so far. Okay, so let's just update this model. Go back into, let's open our mag. Here it is, and replace this guy with this guy. Well, you can see it comes through the grip, and I can actually fix that by moving it slightly backwards. Nothing too like bad about doing that. So let's do this like so. All right, so now let's use the same form for the cutout, but it's going to be a bit modified. So let's export this one back into Maya, because I moved it slightly so that it was in the same place right here. And now let's use the same mesh for the mag well. So what I'm going to do here is just add an edge loop over here and over here. Now I will scale those into straight line using edge transformation constraint. Scale those into one line like this. And what I'm going to do now is select these vertices and scale them sideways and front, like not sideways but in front and backwards like that. And another thing to do is to move those guys higher so that the cutting tool was like straight without this tapering here. I don't need it. So let's align the pivot along this face, right, and move straight up like so. Okay, let's go back into ZBrush, but now I'll export this as a cutting tool for the frame. So go back down here, duplicate and import. Here we go. Now let's crease some parts. The bottom and this transition. And then hide the mag, right, and set to subtract. Yes. Okay, so couple edits should be done here, because as you can see it cuts a bit more than needed. So select this thing and select those verts in invert selection. Alt click for the pivot to adjust to the surface so that it was aligned. And now move it down like this. Yeah. And I don't like this thing over here. It actually, on the reference, it's almost like there, it hits like the bare surface there. So I can do something like that. I can select these guys and reset my pivot and move this thing right here. No, it's not gonna work. Okay, so actually right now I need to adjust the form of the frame because as you can see, even though I moved this magazine a bit further backwards, but it starts to lose it, because as you can see here, like this thing barely hits the magazine button section. Should be closer, or well, this part is not that important actually. This is internal part, but at least here I think I should move some verts further. I'm going to do that in ZBrush. Like this. It is also sometimes it's useful to go back into not smooth version so that you could see what's going on with your vertices, and it's kind of useful so that you won't see, like, the smooth version does not always represent how the vertices are actually based, so it is okay to go back to the low poly model and give it some more adjustments. Now smooth it back, and yeah, this is good, this is okay, this is nice, this looks proper. Alright, so let's turn on the buttons, back on, save the scene. Okay, so one thing that still bothers me is this sharp edge over here. And as you can see on the reference, it is perfectly round and nice. And like, this is like the most problematic area of the gun. I would bet on that. This looks too crazy. So I came up with this not too elegant solution, but I hope it's gonna work. So what I'm going to do now is just, let's delete this guy. Go into side view, create a cylinder, rotate it 90 degrees, and now I'm going to use this cylinder as a corner of that smooth part. So let's scale it down and scale it more. Select faces, extrude this part, right? So let's see in here, and extrude this part. So I don't need this, and I don't need this. So basically I'm going to use this part as a corner, and I'm going to see how it's gonna work. So let's bridge those parts. Bridge. Okay, add some supporting edges. Okay, so now I'm going to move it. Well, first of all, I want this face to be perfectly aligned with this face. So in order to do that, I turn on snapping by 2 points, hold D and snap the pivot to this point. Now I will drag this arrow and we'll try to snap it to, for example, this point by x-axis, like this. Now this shape is perfectly aligned with this surface. Hopefully it should be. So right now I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to move it any other place on the x-axis. I can use this or this, but not this one. So let's go back to side view and let's do this crazy thing I figured out. So select vertices and move those somewhat like this. Right now I'm aiming for the silhouette. Now what I'm going to do is select the top faces of this shape, those faces, and deselect not top faces, and just extrude the way up till the end. Extrude again and again and again. So this thing will form my corner and hopefully this thing will work. And like this. Okay, let's adjust some edges over here like this. Okay, so another thing I want to do is select these vertices and move them into center of coordinates by snapping to grid and just dragging by X. Okay, and let's just now make it symmetrical. Delete the faces, like in the center of coordinates. Same thing now, move pivot to the center of coordinates as well, like this. Control D. Okay, you can see that the scale and translate have already some values here. In order to drop that and do not move the mesh, you go into modify, freeze transformation. Now it collapsed all the transforms and made them 0. Now scale -1 and you can see it symmetrified this thing. Select those two, combine, delete history, select middle vertices, merge them. It was 40, now it's 20, it's perfect. Too much actions for just mirroring the part, right? Okay, so let's export this guy, and now I should figure where is the better place to put it. Somewhere up, I guess. Let's put it here, because I want all the cutouts affect this part. Okay, so now it's time to crease it at right places, like so. Crease. Okay. All right, now, okay, it looks better than I was expecting. Still, a lot of things should be adjusted. Well, as you can see, the transition goes perfect at this distance, but it's totally too far. I need to make it good at this distance. Okay, so, all right, so let's move it like this so that this corner would be aligned with this part, because this is the trickiest part. There should be smooth transition. And okay, like this. And now let's turn it on and off just to see how it looks. I don't really like this thing, small like piece. Let's select this part and extend it. Select like the surface, yeah, the outer surface mesh, and just move it like this. Yeah, disappeared. So what I want to do now actually is select this guy, go into move brush, and simply do this kind of trickery. I'm holding Alt right now and dragging this mesh, while basically what I'm doing is pushing the mesh inside. Well, that's looking not too bad, to tell the truth, here as well. Okay, let's do the paint for this part. Wow, this looks okay. Move this part in. The only thing which is bothering me is this gap over here. So select this guy and let's move it even further, like so. No. Okay, let's select this guy, move tool, and how about I move this part? I'm using tablet right now, it's easier to manipulate. Well, as you can see, I'm doing really weird shit right here but that's cool part about ZBrush and doing hard surface in ZBrush, because you can stack all kind of different weird shit on top of each other and ZBrush will actually eat it, like no problem. So what I'm doing here is like really sketchy stuff, but I actually think it's gonna work, so nothing too bad in this, since this is a sculpting program, you know, so you can sculpt in it. Okay. Right now, not enough geometry to move this part, and I'm just thinking, what should I do? Paint this part. Well, okay, let's try to add some more subdivision levels, because it's too blocky right here to pixelate it. I need to see how it looks more smooth. And okay, let's leave this part alone for a while. And this part, I don't like this one. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, so You can see a tiny part here. Just want to know what is that. So somehow this line became wavy. I don't know why. I was not touching this cutout. I think I messed up the low poly here just a bit. This should be straight. Let's select these guys and see. Come on. Okay, I'll send this back into Maya in order to fix this place because it's not possible to do it here. Delete this guy, import, and who is not aligned here? Which of you guys? Turn on the symmetry. Try to move it. Why it's not snap? Oh, right. Snap to points. Snap to points. Okay. Okay. Now send it back and see if something changed. Import crease, increase. Still wavy. Why is it wavy? And did I touch this one? No, it has no history. Should not. About you and you and you. Import. Yeah, now it's straight. Somehow I touched a polygon and it moved and it messed up. Okay, so at this distance you can actually see some stuff going on in here, like this over here. So let's try playing with move brush here. No. Let's make it the brush smaller, and I'm holding Alt. Yeah, this solved. Oh no, I was not in the symmetry mode. Shit. Good thing that I have a long history here. Oh, come on. Does it look different? No, it's not. It's okay. So turn on the symmetry mode and do this kind of stuff. Yep. And let's select this part and move it. Yeah, I think I'm finally satisfied how it's look. How does it look? Yeah, this looks good. This looks good. All right, finally we're done with this. And another thing. All right, this is somehow is not creased. Crease. All right. So paint. All right. One thing left here is this, but I think I can mask it with getting this part higher. Select these guys. And just move it like this. Yep. Oh no, not again. Okay. Yeah, I was not doing symmetry properly because see this here? Okay. So if you lost your symmetry, it is okay to restore it. Just send this thing back into Maya and delete the half, which is not like the unneeded part. Turn off the symmetry here, like so. And come on, object mode. Duplicate it. I believe the pivot is in the center of the coordinates. Yeah. Merge, delete history, weld, and export it back. And I'm crossing my fingers that it will work. And we will move further. Crease it again. And yes, finally, this looks proper. Okay, so as you can see, this thing is fixed now. This looks okay. This tiny transition, this thing will not be seen after like 1 point of polish crisp edges. I can guarantee that. Another thing that still bothers me is this part over here. I should edit this shape that cuts. Add poly paint. Yeah. So let's save the scene. So as you can see, as I said before, like this frame, like I dropped like different really weird stuff upon it, and it's still in the end it's gonna work perfectly as a high poly model. I mean, like there will be some weird stuff going on with this area on the low poly model, but it's like for the low poly model there's no difficulty to low poly anything. It's just like manual work. But for high poly, like nailing the high poly shapes, this is like really hard place, and it's kind of cool. You can drop anything on it, and like you can just do this shape, like place it next to the frame, and it will work. It will serve its purpose. So no need to worry about any kind of topology or kind of stuff. So it's kind of cool. Okay, so finally let's do this surface. Shift D, it looks weird as hell. And let's select these guys. And move those down. All right, down is okay. And same for these guys. Like this. And let's select these guys and move them like this. Let's check on the reference. Let's look. How does it look? Looks like well, there's a thing that it does not look. This is how it should look. Okay, so select this one and Control Z the whole way back for now for this guy, and let's continue work with this fellow over here. Right now I've masked the end part, and now I'm going to move it sideways a bit more. Or no, it's not the best solution. I'm going to move the pivot, and no, this camera does not work like that because the symmetry is on. Oh, come on. Let's do this form. Okay, what if I just move it? Well, yeah, it looks good. I just moved it this side. Same thing here. Let's fix this guy with the move brush. And like this. Yep, almost there. Now select this thing again. And I guess these guys will go up. No, not up, down. Whoa, I took some more than I needed. Don't need these guys. So move down like this. And still not the perfect form. Oh, come on. Basically what I did, went back to a normal shape for this form. And why is this thing going there? Like, why there is like that angle over there? I don't need it. I don't need that angle. Yes, do it straight. Okay guys, we're almost there. This is some like really nitpicky stuff, but I want to nail it down. Well, okay, guess I'm gonna call it right here. It's not perfect. Okay, I was not trying the ultimate weapon right now, the move brush. How it's gonna do. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna call it right here. Basically, this is really not far from the concept. I mean, like, not the concept, but the reference. And as you can see here, we're pretty close. Well, as you can see, I'm still affecting the cutting shape right here without isolating it. Like this. Okay, so whatever. I'll take this one. This is okay. This is still this is extremely small detail, and it looks pretty close to the original reference, so I'll leave it right here. This looks okay for now. This looks good. So let's save the scene. Right there. And another thing I noticed is this beveling over here, like this bevel. There's another, like, not the most beautiful way to do that, but I'm gonna show you. Again, I'm not going away with this one, with this shape here. Okay. Why is this thing like this arc? I don't know, why is it so? I don't need that arc. However, I do have that arc. Was it all the time there? Well, okay, I guess it were all the time there. So what I was talking about, take this like shape, add okay, so go into Z modeler and hover over the edge, insert single edge loop, hold and drag, and now you can like insert an edge loop. So select these guys and reset pivot, center it, and scale them into one position, into straight line, and move it somewhat here. Now crease this part. Okay. And select this, guys, and just move it up. And you can see how like the bevel starts to appear out there. Right? Easy as that. Okay. So there's need to be the same thing for the sides. This will be performed in a different way. So I deleted my frame. So let's export it back into Maya. And actually I'm going to do simple as possible. Go to box and move it sideways. Snap it to the points like this. Alright. So snap this surface to this edge over here, and same for these. Like this. Okay. And now move these guys lower over here, even lower to this. Extrude, nope, select face, extrude it out. Same thing for these vertices. Hold D, snap it to this exact point, and move all of these guys right here. Again, the face, like this. And once again, like this, to the eternity. Select, extrude, extrude over here, Control E, like this. Scale those guys so that they were straight. Like so, and now the magical moment. What the hell is this? Okay, somehow this vertex went wrong. Not a problem, not a problem. Just snap it to this, and now with the magical move, just come on, delete this edge and connect those. So now I have the cutting tool for the bevel at this exact position, and get this guy's higher. Okay, so see how it works. And duplicate, import, don't need to smooth it, subtract, here it is, in all its glory, of this perfect looking bevel. Okay, one thing that I would like to do is to move those guys a bit further into gun so that the bevel could stand out more. Yep, like this. And another thing is to duplicate this one, mirror it, and merge those two guys together. Like this. All right. Okay, so guys, this was the craziest part of the whole tutorial. I promise you, like, it won't get weirder than this part and this part. This was the hardcore crazy shit. Okay, so the rest of it is going to be super like top notch and smooth and technical. It's going to be looking good. So if you're still with me, Thank you very much. Let's go on. So as for the grip part, some really easy peasy stuff left. So it's gonna be fast and pleasant. So let's start with this like extruding part, which sticks out. You can obviously see that this thing sticks out. So this is going to be easy. I'll start with the box as usual. And let's place it in correct place. Over here, scale it down. Like so, turn on transparency, rotate it so that it will face the flow of this shape. Let's move these vertices. So let's extrude this guy out. Okay. And let's move vertices again, like so. And now move the edges inside, move the whole shape inside as well. And now let's try to form this thing. Select this vertex, move it all the way in, because this thing goes in and this one sticks out. And too much stuff going on in this thing. So weld those points like so, so that the easiest shape is still out there. I don't want to keep it complex and hard. Make them stick out more. I'm going further than this thing because I'm going to place this above it and it will just basically cut this shape. I also want to somehow maintain this angle. So I'm basically doing this. Okay, this sticks out pretty nice. Export it. Export it into ZBrush. Over here, duplicate it. Import as one. Alright, so now let's move it higher above this. Yep, and here we go. Nice and easy. Want to adjust this thing. Turn on the poly paint. I don't like this seam here. Yeah, this looks better. This thing will come off after smoothing. It's okay. Just double checking this. If I can make it even better. Select Okay, that's fine. I'll keep it like this for now. Duplicate it, mirror, merge those guys together. And here those extrusions. All right. So now it's time for the easiest part, the pinholes. This hole for disassembly, another pinhole, another pinhole, hole for the trigger, and the grip safety. Okay, so basically all those guys are cylinders and boxes. So hide this one, delete this one, delete this one. So let's do the holes and start with the cylinder as usual. Not too much divisions. You need here 10 or like, okay, 16. 16 will be fine. Scale those to fit like this. Is it on the center? Yep, it's in the center of coordinates. That's great. Duplicate it, move over here, duplicate it again, move over here and scale up, like so. Duplicate it, scale down, like so, duplicate it. Like this. All right, now I will just merge these guys together like this, scale them sideways. They're not equally scaling, but that's okay. Export into ZBrush, select the lowest, import, crease. Creasing does not work. Why? Geometry, crease, set tolerance to lower than 90, crease, now it works. And subtract. Here you go, the holes. Just double checking so that's on both sides looking proper. Yep. Looks good to me. So another thing over here is the like I don't know how this thing is called. Like when the rounds are when the magazine is empty after shooting, so the slide goes back and this thing basically goes up and hits this surface and does not move the slide further back, which gives you a time to replace the magazine and push this thing back down, and the slide will go back in its normal position and will like chamber a new round. So this is, there is a term for this thing, I just forgot how it's called. Okay, so let's format. So as you can see, I have no other reference from the other side. That is not a problem. I'll do this just in ZBrush. So duplicate it, import a box, center the pivot, Shift D, move this guy. It's somewhere out here. And just scale it like this. Yeah, it's somewhere at this point. This is not too important, like to get like every millimeter of the distance. It's fine by me to just have it like this. So now what's left is, well, actually I noticed one thing over here. Like you see right here at this point, and I think that this is the plate, the serial number plate going back way over here, forming that thing. So yeah, let's just do that. Same thing with the plate itself, just like this. Okay. And the only thing left is to make holes for the trigger and the grip safety. So this thing is a grip safety, and it works is when this thing is not squeezed, not pushed into the frame, the gun will not shoot. When you like take a proper grip of this gun and this thing squeezes and like goes inside the frame, and it turns off the safety, as well as this thing. This thing is a safety as well. Like in a Glock pistol, like if something goes in the way of the trigger, like on the sideways, it will not move for like backwards, because this thing is not rotated here, and as you can see it will stuck to the frame. So in order to engage the trigger, you have to like make a proper grip on the trigger with your finger. So you hit this thing, it turns to the trigger, and then you can like move the trigger. So these are two kinds of safety on this gun. Like the previous generation of those guns had this thumb safety over here, but they like throw it away on the next generation of those guns. So as for those holes, go back into Maya and just a box according to the reference. It's going to be here like this, and same for this. I'm just placing it where it should be placed, like combine those two guys, export into ZBrush, just roughly place them according to the reference. Now I can just scale them like so. I'll move this guy right here. And yep. So this is pretty much it for the frame. As I said before, these things will be done on the texturing stage. For now, there's no need to do those. It will be easier to paint that thing on top of the model. And just checking if I did all that was here. And well, basically there is like this part, but I guess I'll come back to this one when I'll be doing the slide. So if not considering this part, oh, and actually this part as well, this I will take a look at this when I'm be doing slides. So except for that, the frame is ready. So let's move on and do the slide. Save your scene and let's go on.